Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to make a video on kind of leading off of my last video, like moving out at 18. So moving on from that is living with my boyfriend at 19. So I just thought it'd be a good idea to kind of just follow on from that video and just talk through what living with my boyfriend at 19 is like. Obviously I'm not 19 anymore, I'm 20, but I'm going to talk about like when we first moved in together, you know, arguments, disagreements, and also the good times as well. But I just want to give you guys like an outlook, like if you guys are thinking about moving in with your significant other. Obviously I know every relationship's different, but it was just a wee video just to give you an outlook on my experience, and hopefully you guys can relate to that. Anyway, so starting out, when we moved out, I was already out the house. So I was already moved out, obviously. I was in student accommodation, in debt, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to know the story behind that, go to my last video, moving out at 18. I'll link it down below actually, because it'll be easier for you, because that kind of explains like my whole situation with that. And I met Connor when I was going through all that. So obviously I met Connor when I was going through all that, so he kind of helped me out a little bit, obviously, like with everything. And then obviously when we were getting a bit more serious, we realised that well, I basically put it on the table saying I need to get a flat because it's going to be a cheaper option for me. This student accommodation isn't working, it's so expensive and everything else. So we spoke about it. He was a bit like, he wasn't like completely like yes, but he wasn't completely no for moving in together. But he helped me try and find a flat and everything else, and we found this one. And when I got the phone call to say that this flat was available, he then decided that he was going to move out. He literally decided within a week he was moving out of his mum's house. Obviously when that happened, we had to buy stuff and we had to put our money together, and we had to kind of create this not massive, but we had to just kind of create this budget that we kind of didn't have. I had my half for the stuff that I wanted, but for more stuff, obviously for Connor and design wise and everything, it was a bit harder that way. So when we moved in here, we were only 10-11 months together. We weren't even a year together yet, and I could already feel kind of arguments happening here, like here and there, because I was working like crazy hours, like overtime hours, trying to get as much money in so that we can make this place a home. And you know, we were like trying to decide how to decorate, and it was just, see, because I've been so used to being on my own for a significant amount of time, I was used to just deciding stuff on my own and saying I like that, I don't care what anybody else thinks, I like that, I don't care what anybody else thinks, and everything else. But obviously because I was so used to that for so long, I didn't actually realise that I needed to include Connor in the process. So like I kept saying, like for example, this really annoyed Connor for a while, like I kept saying my flat, my flat, my flat, but it was our flat. But because I kept saying my, he started getting annoyed at that because it's his as well. But because I was so used to being on my own, I wasn't really used to the fact of someone else being there. So yeah, so we were 10-11 months together, you know, still in kind of the honeymoon phase, kind of transitioning out of it a little bit. And you know, we were still trying to be comfortable with each other and things like that. And it was just, to be fair, we did go into our relationship really fast, like quite quickly. Like we were transitioning through stages that would normally take months on end, and it was taking us weeks, because you just know what's right and what feels right. When Connor decided to move out of his mum's house, we had to obviously gut his room and everything else and bring it all here. And I didn't realise how much stuff Connor actually had and how much I had as well. So it was like, how much do we need to consider here? And that was quite tough, how to do that, because Connor had lots of stuff from like childhood memories and everything like that, whereas I left all that stuff in my mum's house because I just didn't take it with me. Whereas he literally took everything out of his mum's house and brought it here. So we had to go through everything. We had to decide what he was keeping, what he wasn't keeping. And it was just really, really stressful, and it was just such an upheaval. Like obviously moving is just such a stressful situation alone, never mind trying to do it with someone that you've not long gone out with. And with the attitude I have a very, I wouldn't say controlling attitude, but I've got a way of doing things. And if you're the same as me, please comment down below, because I'd love to find people who are the same as me. But like, I have a certain way of doing things, and if it doesn't go that way, I'm not happy with it. Like, I don't know if it's some sort of disorder I have or something or whatever, but it's just like, if something's not a certain way, I need to fix it or it will irritate me. So that kind of caused some arguments and some disagreements on things, but a lot of it was down to trust as well, because I didn't know Connor's full money situation, as in like, you know, I knew how much money he was earning at that point, but I didn't know stuff that he had on finance, stuff that he was like paying up to pay off. I didn't know how much his car was, I didn't know how much his insurance was, I didn't know how much like his bills were. So like, he was paying digs to his mum, he was paying phone bills, he was paying his car, his insurance, and he was paying like things off. So like stuff like his gaming chair, he had like on a finance tariff thing, I don't know, but like he had loads of things that he needed to kind of pay off, and I didn't know a lot about this. So obviously we had to sit down and try and just trust the process, and we had to sit down and write down all the bills that we'd need to obviously pay, so like rent, gas and electricity, council tax, Wi-Fi, TV licence, all that type of stuff. And we had to write all that down and then figure out how we were paying all this stuff. So the system we came up with was like a half down the middle system, because as well, we're in this brand new relationship as well, and we're getting a flat together. It's a very risky move, because a lot of couples don't even do that when they're years down the line, never mind months. So we were literally months into this relationship, still trying to find each other, still trying to figure out, like, you know, our likes and dislikes, and we're still trying to, see, to be honest, 2 years down the line, there's still new things that I find out about Connor, and we're 2 years in now. So 10, 11 months, when I told my mum was like, are you being serious? Because she was thinking that I'm just jumping into this so quickly, and I'm not thinking. But I was thinking, I did trust Connor, and I trust the process. So we actually came up with a system where everything is half down the middle, and basically what Connor paid for. So basically, if we broke up, what Connor paid for he'd take, and what I paid for would stay here. So like, for example, there's a couch here, right? There's a couch there and a couch there. So Connor pays for the couch, and it's on a 4-year plan of interest-free credit. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. So basically, he pays a certain amount of money a month for 4 years to pay off the couch. So if me and him broke up, the couch would be going with him. Whereas I pay for our bed that we have, I pay for that on 3 years interest-free credit. So because that's in my name on a finance kind of scheme, tariff, whatever you want to call it, the bed would stay here. And we also came up with a plan that if we broke up, if it was just, obviously if we broke up and it was a messy breakup, then it would be a wee bit different. But if we were like, this isn't working out, our relationship's breaking down, we thought it was going to work, it's not, and it was just kind of like a mutual agreement, then I said to Connor that he could stay in here until he could find a new place, because I said that I'm not moving. So I'm not leaving. I think eventually through time I probably would leave, but like I said to him, it would be him that's leaving and I wouldn't. Obviously if it was a messy breakup, like say for example I cheated, I would never cheat on him, but say for example like I cheated, I messed up, I fucked up, then yeah, it would be me that would leave, and that's agreed. But I think it's more the fact that Connor could go back to his mum's house if he really had to, if we broke up, whereas I couldn't go back to my mum's house. I would only go back to my mum's house if it was the absolute last resort, as in like I was going to be homeless, like living in a box kind of thing, then I would go back to my mum's. But it would be like my last resort to go back to my mum's, just purely because of the relationship me and her have. So that was agreed on both of us, and we halved everything down the middle. So bills get halved right down the middle, and if there's something that comes out of Connor's bank account and he pays for the full thing, then there's something that comes out of my bank account that I pay for the full thing. So I'm pretty sure like if the gas bill is low, so say in the summer months when the gas and electricity bill is quite low, I'll pay like the full electricity bill and he'll pay the full Wi-Fi bill, because it evens it out. But if the gas and electricity bill is higher, say in the winter months, which it normally is, then he would pay the difference, because it would be coming straight out of my bank account. So he would like give me the difference of what was coming out of my bank account kind of thing. So everything is half down the middle, so that we're paying the same amount of money for everything that's in the flat. If it's out with the flat, then it's nothing to do with us, because so car, phone, insurance, that type of stuff, because that's my bills and that's his bills kind of thing. So like we're not involved in that. Obviously like we will help each other out because we're a couple and we work together and we're a team kind of thing, but that's like out with the flat. We also had to discuss obviously whose name goes on the flat as well. Now there was an option for both of our names to go on the flat, but in the beginning this was going to be my flat and solely my flat, because I was moving in here regardless if I was dating Connor or not. So obviously like we put both our names down on the tenancy agreement for this place, but that was obviously a discussion that had to happen because again originally it was going to be my name that was on the flat. So moving on to like arguments and disagreements. So I generally feel that moving in with your partner, significant other, lover, whoever can literally make or break a relationship. I feel like it's the exact same when like a pressurized situation comes into a relationship. So like a baby or a child or some sort, or a house, or like moving in together, or just different things, or like sharing a car or something. I feel like these type of situations like make or break a relationship purely because it's just obviously, you know, you do need to move on in life and things like that. So when we first moved in, our relationship was it was like a love-hate relationship. Honestly, it was like 1 minute we'd love each other and then the next minute we were like basically breaking each other's necks. Like honestly, it was there was a point that generally I didn't think it was going to work, and he's the exact same. We've actually had this discussion, like we've actually sat down and discussed this, and the amount of times that we were actually having conversations, like sitting at each end of the room and we were sitting discussing whether or not it was going to work, purely because we generally think it wasn't going to work, because I kind of took on the role of just doing everything in here. So cleaning, washings, dishes, working as well on top of that, and going to college at the same time. And I just felt like Connor didn't really do anything. For 3 months straight, I done everything in here. So I made sure that Connor's clothes were washed. I made sure that he had clean pants to put on his bum. I made sure that, you know, there was toilet roll in the bathroom. I made sure there was bleach in the toilet. I made sure that the dishes were clean, that there was forks, that there was nice in the drawer. I made sure that the floors were cleaned and hoovered, or sweeped at that point because we didn't have a hoover. And then I was also doing crazy overtime to try and make up the money that I'd lost because I bought so many things at once. So obviously I was doing that for so long, and then I just hit a point where I just burned out because I was doing so much. I was trying to do my college work, I was trying to go to work, and also like kind of run a home. I generally just broke down one day and ended up just screaming at Connor and just like going for him, like not like abusively, like I would never ever hit him like that, but I just kind of ended up everything that was on my mind. So like just, you know, it was just pure hatred that came out of me, like. And I've never been like that with Connor before. So when I started being like that with Connor then turned around and started snapping at me because he's like, where does this came from? Like, you've never discussed anything like that you had a problem with doing all these things and everything else, because I just felt that Connor was just coming in from work, sitting chilling. Oh, I was also making dinners on top of that as well. I feel like it was because his mum did a lot of things for him as well. He's a massive mummy's boy, and I generally feel like his mum did his washing for him. He sometimes cooked for himself. It was like, it wasn't like proper meals, it was just kind of like stuff that you could make really fast, like in the microwave or something. So for the first, like, just before the pandemic hit, we were kind of like, we were on quite a good kind of level, because we eventually spoke it out. You know, I said what was on my mind and what I felt about the situation. Connor said how he felt about the situation, even though he didn't really have a leg to stand on. And I said to him, like, you'll need to pull your weight in here because I can't keep on top of everything and also try and work and do college and do this and this. I feel like because I nipped that in the bud quite early on in the relationship and early on moving in with each other, I felt like it's kind of created a habit with Connor now that, like, you know, it's nice to be appreciated and ask if I need help, or ask if you want dinner made, or ask if you need to put a washing on or something, because it's these little things that you wouldn't think of until you've moved in with someone. And I'm telling you one thing, you truly don't know your significant other until you live with them. Honestly, you don't. And I'm not going to get properly into that because I will embarrass the fuck out of Connor, and he will watch this video and he will kill me. So I'm not going to get into that completely, but you do not know somebody until you live with them, because this now moves into my next point, is being comfortable in your relationship. Because I feel like once you move in with someone, that's it. Like, you know, you're with each other constantly. There's not really getting away with, you know, going out on a date and not farting, and then when you get in the car to go home and you're by yourself and you let out a big fart. Every girl or boy that's been on a date, it's been done. But like, I feel like over the first couple of months, like, we generally just got so used to each other being in each other's company that like the romance was starting to go. So we then started going for like little date nights or something, or like things to try and keep the relationship fresh. So like just wee little things. So like things like, I don't know, like your partner buying you flowers or buying you chocolates, or going to the gym together, or going on little drives in places, or like trying to just find kind of new little things to do. So like date night, just wee things to keep it fresh, because you do get really comfortable with your significant other, and that's completely fine. I feel like because I'm so comfortable with Connor, I can talk to him about anything, and I'm not embarrassed about it, and I feel like that in a relationship is really important. I feel like now, because obviously I'm kind of past the honeymoon stage and everything else, and I've been with him for 2 years, I feel like he is my comfort now, instead of just being comfortable with him. Like, he is my comfort, so like I can sit and be myself and be stupid and look ugly. But I feel like as well, communication is a massive big thing as well when you're trying to, or you're starting to move in with your significant other or whoever, because moving in with someone is just such a big step. And especially like if you're used to, you know, if you are living in your parents' houses and you're having like the odd wee sleepover, like maybe, I don't know, maybe like for a week or something like that, or like if you go on holiday or something, it's a different atmosphere because you're on holiday, and you know, it's a completely different atmosphere. For an everyday atmosphere, it can get boring. It can get annoying when you need to keep picking up socks and boxers and pants and bras and everything else like off the floor to keep your house clean. Or it gets boring when you constantly need to put a washing on to make sure that your clothes are clean. You know, for some people it isn't as easy as just communicating. I do realise that, because obviously some relationships do turn toxic and it does become one-sided, and that's why I tried to nip, you know, our arguments in the bud like quite early on when we moved in, because I felt like it was going to turn toxic, because I just felt like I was turning into this moody bitch, and just I was constantly moaning at him, I was constantly shouting at him, I was constantly just getting frustrated at him, and I was just not wanting to look at him, and I just wasn't wanting to, like, he was coming in and hugging me from behind and everything, and I was just wanting to elbow him out the way and just tell him to fuck off, because I just didn't want to deal with him. But I then had to sit down and understand where he was coming from, because he had just moved out of his mum's house. He hadn't get into that role where stuff doesn't get done by itself, and I think because obviously his mum and stepdad was doing so quite a lot for him when he was living at his mum's, and I had been out the house for basically a year at that point. Yeah, I was out the house for a year. Because I took on the role so quickly, he just thought that I was kind of like a mum double. That's the way I like to call it, because I feel like I just took on his mum's role as the girlfriend, if that makes sense. Or as the girlfriend, I took on the mum role, because I was basically doing everything that his mum done for him. That's why he wasn't really including. Yes, okay, he could have, you know, said, do you want help, and asked and stuff like that. But because when you're in a routine like that, it's hard to just snap out of it just because you've changed your scenery, because that's all it was to him. It was like a change of scenery. We sorted it out anyway, but we ended up having like a massive big discussion about it, because again, communication is a big key in this, because we had to just sit down and talk about all of the problems and just resolve them one by one. And if we never done that, we would not be sitting here today. Don't actually think I'd be sitting here talking to you guys today if that argument or conversation went a different way, because genuinely, if we never had that conversation, our relationship would have been done, because I was thrown in the towel at that point. I'm saying this like I'm in an abusive relationship. I am not 100% not in an abusive relationship one bit. I'm just trying to talk through my experience with it purely because it might help someone else. These are things that happen. Like, I'm just trying to be real with you guys and just tell you how it is, because that's what happened. Like, I'm in a relationship. I'm in a serious relationship. This is our place, and you know, this is where I'm trying to create a life for myself. Again, it was kind of a make or break point, but that does happen, because relationships aren't, you know, all, you know, hugs and kisses and cuddles and roses and, you know, and giving each other chocolates and everything else. Like, I think everyone does this. Like, everyone makes things seem like they're okay behind a screen, but in reality they could be arguing or, you know, stomping around, flinging stuff at each other, like in a non-abusive way. I'm going to clarify that because I know some people might take this the wrong way, but you know, shit happens. Like, it's just genuinely, it's life. But yeah, all in all, I love living with Connor, obviously. He's like the love of my life, and like I wouldn't have it any different. You know, even arguments, disagreements, shouting matches, I wouldn't have it any different, purely because it's a real relationship. It's not just a wee kind of on the side fling or something. This is real life, real talk, real reality, really. I think I'm just rambling on now at this point. Anyway, I feel like I rambled on a wee bit, so I'm gonna end it here. Anyway guys, so I hope you did enjoy this video. Again, it was just a wee video just to touch on a little bit of my experience. If you want me to make a part 2 or expand on this, please comment down below, because I will happily do that, and I'll expand on certain points that I did make. Or if you're wanting to ask a couple of questions on it, feel free. But yeah, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe as well, and I will see you guys in the next video.